Right. So welcome to the training. Let's start with it. Right. I'll start with a brief history of Selenium, how everything started. Okay, and where is it going? Right. Now, if you uh, talk about late when I first worked on this tool somewhere in 2007. Okay, we had these things. We had got Selenium RC. Right. We had rather we also have it today. It is known as Selenium IDE. Oh, sorry. IDE, and we have got something known as Selenium GRID. Fine, this was way back in 2007 when I started working on it. I hope everyone has heard about IDE. What IDE is basically it is a record and run tool. Okay, you can record any application and run it, but the problem is it works in Mozilla, right? It generates no reports. No reports are generated by IDE. Okay, if you're running a test scripts, in the end you want to check the reports, then IDE generates no reports. Guys, I please request you to keep yourself on mute. Don't unmute yourself. Right. So this is IDE. Fine. Moreover, IDE is primarily a record and run tool. You can record stuff, you can run it. Right. But these days all the applications are changing every day. An application like a news channel website, okay, or an application like Facebook, into which you log in and every time you see new contents, right? So you cannot just think that you can just record everything and play it every time, okay, right? So don't think you can do it with IDE. So that's why people actually um, tend to not use it, right? What is the long form of IDE? There's a question being asked. It is integrated development environment. Okay, right. So people don't prefer to use this now because the major reason is it only works on Mozilla. You cannot do the cross-browser testing. You don't have any reports. It's primary record and run. So you cannot do it. I hope you know what record and run is. Record and run feature is present in all the tools. Okay, in this training, I am considering that you have a little background. Okay, a little background of testing. Little background, you know what a test case is, right? Little background of programming, you know what an if statement is, what a for loop is. If you don't know all that stuff, then I would recommend you don't join this training directly. Get the video tutorials first and then join this training later by paying the remaining fees. Okay, is there a way to take code created by IDE and modified? Yes, right. What people do is that, hold on, one person left the meeting. I'll just ask somebody else to join it. Just 1 minute, guys. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. Where is that? Right. So, as I was saying, right, that you cannot use IDE like that. Okay, there's a question being asked by Boris. Is there a way to take the code from IDE and modify it and port it to WebDriver? Yes. Okay. There is a feature in IDE, fine, where in what you can do is that you can record the code in IDE. Okay, this is your IDE. You can record the code and or record an application and then convert the code into Java code, that is Java WebDriver code, and use it. If you're not understanding, right, don't worry, you'll understand after some time. Fine, you can do that, but don't do that, right? Because firstly, at times I've seen people getting used to it, and then they forget about coding, right? Sometimes this stuff never works and you are stuck up very badly. Okay, so and thirdly is that how many times will you convert? You'll end up wasting a lot of time, right? It's better to directly learn the Java programming, fine, and directly start writing your own code. I never do this. I never do this conversion. I've never done it. Fine. It's better to do your own stuff rather than uh, doing this thing. Okay, right. So hold on. The third square got missing. It's Selenium GRID. Fine. Now over a period of time, things got modified. Okay. The latest version of Selenium came up. It's known as Selenium WebDriver. It is also known as Selenium 2.0. It came up in 2011, somewhere near August. Okay, and this is Selenium RC, which came up, which is also known as Selenium 1.0. Okay, it doesn't require you to learn Selenium RC in order to learn Selenium WebDriver. Both are completely different tools. The APIs for both the tools is completely different, right? Sometimes people think that fine, if I want to learn WebDriver, then it's mandatory for me to learn RC. No, it's not like that. Okay, right. Yeah, just to see the code snippet, yes, Boris, you can do that. Alright, fine. Now, people who have worked on WebDriver, okay, when they look at the RC code, they are not able to understand it. And people who have worked on RC, when they look at WebDriver, they are not able to understand it. You can say that both of them are completely different tools. Okay, RC had few drawbacks, right? For example, in RC, there used to be a server which we used to start from command prompt. Okay, and sometimes something wrong used to happen, and then we had to end up restarting the server and all that stuff, which is not there in WebDriver. Okay, I'm just taking a small example, right? For example, in the RC, if you had to find multiple elements on the page, for example, go and extract all the links from a web page, right? When you're doing testing, when you're using Selenium, you're launching a browser, you're going to a website, and you extract all the links from the website and print them. Doing this in RC was possible, but that was not so simple. But in WebDriver, extracting multiple elements from the page, like multiple links from the page, they have made the concept very easy. So things like that. Okay, in WebDriver, there are a lot of other things as well, right? Fine. Now IDE, only the versions have changed. IDE has remained same. Of the percent of the people, they work on WebDriver only. Okay, right. Now WebDriver is available in multiple languages. It can test on multiple browsers like Chrome, IE, Mozilla, Safari is also there. It can test on multiple browsers. It is available in multiple programming languages. Like you can, if you want to work with WebDriver, you can use programming languages like C Sharp, Java, Ruby, Python, and all. Fine. Well, I am teaching you Java in this. Okay, we'll be starting with Java first. Right. Java is the very basics, right? Java you cannot ignore. Fine. I've seen many people just directly jumping over to Selenium. They don't learn Java. Okay. And in the end, they get confused. Look, what the thing is, if you visit the website of Selenium, the official website of Selenium is seleniumhq.org. Right. The first thing which is written over here is that Selenium automates browsers. This means that Selenium is only for browsers. It is not for desktop-based applications. Fine, so you cannot automate desktop-based applications with Selenium. Fine. Secondly, if you go to the download link over here, right, you will see the Java doc over here, Java doc link. Fine. You click on this Java doc link. This is the documentation of Selenium. It is completely technical. Fine. You have to understand the concepts of object-oriented programming to understand this. People just ignore everything in Java, directly write the Selenium code, and that creates a problem. How good should we be in Java? This is the question being asked. You should be good in core Java, and that's what I'll be teaching you. Okay, there is no running away from the from programming. Okay, I've seen many people trying to just run away from programming. Look, what is the advantage if you learn Java and Selenium? The advantage is not just for Selenium. If you want to learn some other tool, for example, you want to learn SOAP UI. SOAP UI is for web services testing. It's again a very famous tool in the market. It will help you because you have Java language knowledge. If you want to learn JMeter, which is for functional which is for load testing, right? It puts load on the websites and it can test the performance, right? So over there you have JavaScript and Java involved. So that also helps you a lot over there. If you are into manual testing, then your career will certainly hit a rooftop if you're not moving towards programming and if you're not learning these things, right? So you need to understand Java and you need to understand the concepts of object-oriented programming. It is very important. Okay. Anybody with any questions? No questions? Right. Now let's move forward. Right. Look, many times you might feel that the session is very simple. Okay. Initial 1 or 2 classes you will find that fine, it is very easy. I know all this thing. I don't think so. It's useful or something, whatever you way. Look, I'm starting from the very basics. Okay, I'm starting from the very basics and then I'm going to the advanced topics. Okay, and do I have the list of topics which I'm going to cover in the session? Basically, video tutorials from 1 to 21 except IDE. Okay, that's what I'm planning. Fine. Fine. Now, I am going to tell you how to first install Java. I think everybody has joined WebEx session. They know how to install Java. You just need to go to Google and type download Java and you will be able to get the first link. Right. Now people who, this is the first link, java.com/download. You can download the exe file and install it. People who have got 64-bit operating systems. Okay. I would request them to download JDK as well. JDK is the complete Java development kit. Fine. You type download JDK, go to the first link. Okay. And click on the download link over here and you can accept the license over here and select the JDK version for your operating system and install it. Right. Once you install it, you can verify in your C drive program files. A Java folder will come up. Inside that JDK folder will be there. Okay. After that, you have to download Eclipse. Eclipse is the editor for Java language. All the programming, whatever programming you do inside Eclipse. For example, if you have studied C language, then Turbo C was the editor for C language. Right, we used to write the C language code or C++ over there. So similarly for Java, it is Eclipse. You go to Google and just type over here Eclipse download. You go to the first link. Sorry. You can download Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers, 64-bit or 32-bit depending on your version of OS. Right. Once you download it, it will come as a zip file. Okay. And you install it. Like on my PC, it is over here. Okay. Not install it, you extract it. It comes as a bundle. You will directly find eclipse.exe, which you can start. Find double click on it, and this exe will start up. Fine. Oh, hold on. Actually, my actual Eclipse is over here. I've kept it on desktop. Right. So you start it. Fine. And when Eclipse starts, if you get any starting error in Eclipse, then do contact me, right? You can contact me through mail. Sometimes Eclipse, when it starts, it gives an error. Fine. And when you start it, this is the workspace path. You select the path where you want to create your workspace. What do you mean by workspace? Workspace means the place where you will be storing all your code. Okay, so you can browse for the workspace over here. You can go to the location, say I want to store my all the code in tools. Hold on, Selenium online workspace. Hold on, I've actually kept it over here, right? I'll keep the name as in online classes. This is September weekday. Fine. So this is the workspace path. Please note all the code which you do, all the projects which you do will be stored over here. You click on OK and it will start up. Right. Let Eclipse start. Fine. So this was the diagram which I had made. Hold on. It's kind of stuck. Hold on. Right. So this was the diagram which I had made earlier to make you understand what Selenium is, what are the various components. Fine. Now, these days, what is happening is before I start off with Java, I'll just tell you, mobile is also coming up. Okay. And for mobile, we have got other tools. Tools like for if you want to automate your mobile applications or if you want to test how your website is performing on mobile, right? Then you have tools coming up like Appium is one of the tools. Right. Then there is another tool known as Selenium. Okay. Then for iOS, you have got iOS driver. Fine. There is another tool known as Calabash. Calabash is on Ruby. Okay, it's quite good. Appium, Selenium, iOS driver, these are Java based and they are built on top of Selenium. So if you're learning Selenium, you can actually learn these tools as well for mobile based testing. These tools are getting very famous in the market these days. Calabash is different. Okay, this is just for a generic information, right? Now this is Eclipse which has just started up. Yes, all of these are famous and they are open source now. All these tools are open source. So this is Eclipse, this is the welcome screen and you can close this welcome screen and you will have this page coming up. You just hold on, close the outline, right? Fine, most of you would be knowing these things. I'm starting from the basics, right? Because there are people who don't know this stuff. Right, and you have in this central section over here you will be doing the coding. On the left hand side you will be storing the projects and in the bottom you'll have the output console. Right, fine. The question being asked is, does my video include quick? No, it doesn't include. There is nothing known as quick glance on these tools. Okay, if you want to actually learn these, you need to install them like anything, right? Installation takes a lot of time. Rather in YouTube I have put videos on Appium. Okay, you can see those videos how to install them, right? Fine. Now you can create your first project over here. You can go to File, New, and you go to Project. Fine. Or you click on Other, and over here under Java you select Java project. Fine. Click on Next and give your project a name. I'll give my project a name like Day 1. Alright. I'm recording the session. You will be getting the recorded session as well. Right. So you give the project name Day 1, finish it and click on Yes and you'll have this project Day 1 created. Okay. If you expand this project, you will have source folder and GRE system library visible inside it. Okay, you right click on this project and you will see a lot of options. We will be using these options. One of the options and very important options is properties. Okay, when you click on properties, you get all these tabs. You'll be using these tabs. Fine. The first property is resource. Over here, you will see the location of the project on your hard drive. This was the workspace which I had set up right when I was starting Eclipse. I'll just copy the path and I'll go to that particular path. This is day one project which is actually there on the hard drive. Okay, you can map it from here. Right. Now, if you open day one, there are a lot of folders available over here and some files, right? Out of which source folder is there inside Eclipse. Whatever Java coding or programming you will do, that will be done inside the source folder. Okay. Dot project file means that it's an Eclipse project. Right. Don't delete this file, otherwise it will not open in Eclipse. The project will not open in Eclipse. Dot class path, bin, settings, what are these? We'll come over to it. Gradually we'll come over to it. Fine. Now all the Java code is done inside the source folder, and this JRE system library is actually Java which is installed on your machine, Java 8. I've got Java 8 in my machine. So this is Java. Right, so Java is associated with this particular project. Fine. Now in the source folder, you just right click over here, you will get a lot of options in the source folder. You select new class. Okay, new class means a new Java file basically. Java file, right, means a new class. Okay, you click on this and you name it like first program. Fine. And you select this checkbox public static void main and click on finish, and you will see a Java file created with some code inside it. Okay, right. I'll just increase my font size so that you are able to see it quite clearly. Hold on. Right, I hope you are able to see it clearly now. Fine. Public class first program. So the class name over here should be same as the name of the file. You cannot give a different class name, otherwise Eclipse will automatically throw an error. Okay, please note this is mandatory in Java. Fine. Every class has an opening bracket and a closing bracket, and inside it you keep all the functions. This is my main function. What is public, what is static, and all. We'll come over to it. You have to accept few things as they are. As I move over to the concepts of object-oriented programming, you will come to know what public is, what static is. Gradually, you will come to know. But what I'm assuming right here that you know the basic stuff. What an integer is. Like if I write int I equals to 100 and I'm storing 100 into this. You know what string is. String x equals to hello world, right? You know what a string is, you know what an integer is, you know what a double is, double can store integers, right? You know what functions are. I'm assuming this much. At least you know basics of programming. What functions are, what if statements are, what loops are. These things are there in every programming language. Fine. Okay, if you don't know, then you can visit the website qtpselenium.com before tomorrow's class. Fine. And hold on. I've kept the initial two videos over here on Java introduction and loops, arrays, and functions. They are free tutorials. You can watch them. They will give you more insight. Fine. Or you can join the video tutorials first and join the class later on just by paying the difference fees. That will help you more. Okay, so you have got integer, you have got string, you have got double. Fine, these are some literals and all, and functions, if statements, loops, like any other programming language. These are also present in Java. Fine. In Java, if you have to print something, the command is system.out.println. Right. If I write system.out.println Selenium and I run the program, you can run the program from this icon over here. Okay, you run this and Selenium would be printed. Okay, fine. system.out.println, the shortcut is SYSO, and after that you hit Control space bar of your keyboard. Automatically this will come up, right? So all you need to do is that you need to type SYSO and hit uh, Control space. Fine. Before I move forward, few easy things or few generic things. At times people they get confused with it. Sometimes what happens is that this is Project Explorer on the top right. You can see your file over here. By mistake, people close this, and you don't know how to bring it back, right? So you can bring it back by going to Window, Show View, and you will see Package Explorer over here. If you don't see that, go to Other, and you will see it over here under General. Fine. You will see Project Explorer or Package Explorer, whatever it is. You can click on it, and it will come back. Fine. At times, this is console at the bottom. You close this console and you don't know how to bring it back. Fine. You can again go to Window, Show View, and you will find console over here. Right. Whatever components we are using, if you close anything and if you want to bring it back, you can go to Window, Show View, and you can bring it back. Fine. These are some generic things with which people approach me at times. Okay, it's just for your information I'm telling you. Fine. Now, right. Now moving ahead. Right. Moving ahead. Look, I executed this program. It printed Selenium. Fine. If I go to my day one, you will see under the source folder this Java program is created. Right. I can open this Java program in a notepad as well. You'll see the same program. Fine. And if you go to your bin directory, you will see a class file generated. First program underscore class. This file is, if you open this file, you will actually not be able to understand anything. Okay. Every Java file which is there inside the source folder gets converted to a class file which is there inside the bin folder. This class file is just like an exe file. Okay. Only difference is it is platform independent. I make this class on Windows OS. I can make it run on Linux. I can make it run on any operating system, Unix, Mac. Fine. It doesn't make a difference. That's why Java is a platform independent language. You are not dependent on Windows. You make a program in Windows, you deploy this class file in any other operating system, you can execute it. Fine. How will I execute it? That's a different thing. We'll talk about that later. But basically, you can execute your class files, and class files are platform independent. That's why Selenium is preferred to be used with Java. You can, as a developer or as a tester, you can develop your code on your Windows machine, and then you can deploy the same code on Unix-based servers and execute the code. Fine. Okay, that's what it's done in the industry at times, because generally the servers are Unix-based. Fine. Now, if you look at day one source over here, if I actually create another program, fine, I call it sample, fine, and inside it I just type system.out.println hello, fine, and I run this program, it will print hello. And if you look at your bin folder, you will find sample.class also generated. So every Java file is converted to a class file. Fine. Okay. When your client asks you to deploy, right, deploy the code on the server or something. Fine. When your client asks that, right, you can actually go and deploy these class files. Right. So these class files are something which you can deliver to your client as well. Okay. Now in a project, what happens is that at times project is huge. Okay, there are many Java files. Suppose there are 1000 Java files. So you will end up making 1000 class files. Okay. Now if you have to deliver all these class files to your client, you just cannot send one class file at a time. Right. So what we do is that we bundle all the class files together. in a single file. Okay, that single file is known as a jar file, right? We bundle all the class files into a single file. That single file is known as a jar file, and then we use this single jar file, all right, and we deliver it to the client. So jar file is something which is collection of class files. Okay, it is something like when you have multiple text files, you want to combine them into one, you zip them, right? You create a zip file. So jar file is also like a zip file into which we just keep the class files. Fine, and that's what happens when you install Java in your machine. When you downloaded Java, this is Java in your machine, right? Java is nothing but combination of lot of class jar files. See, all these jar files are coming up from Java. Inside every jar file, you will find lot of class files. See, these are class files inside each jar file. These are predefined class files, and you can use these class files. For example, if I write over here system.out.println new date. Fine. Hold on. Just be with me. What is new? What is date? Just hold on. Date is a internal class. Okay. Date class is somewhere present inside these jar files. If I run this program, it will print the current date and time. Okay, just by using the date class, I am able to print the current date and time, and date class is already present inside these jar files. Okay, it is somewhere inside it. Right. Okay. If you hit Control Shift and T, T as in telephone of your keyboard, you have to press them simultaneously. Control Shift and T simultaneously, you'll get a window like this. Okay, over here you can type date. You'll see the date class is present. Okay, rather all the classes which are starting with date in Java, you will find their names. This is very helpful thing. I cannot explain you how helpful is this right now. Okay, but in coming time you will come to know this is a very helpful shortcut. Okay, but basically what I'm trying to say is that somebody who made Java made a class known as date.java. He converted that class into converted it into date.class file, and in one of the jar files that class file is present. I can use it and I can print the current system date. Okay, and that's what is there in Selenium as well. Selenium is not a rocket science. You don't have to write your own code or something. Everything is inbuilt. You need to download the jar files of Selenium and use the functionalities in the jar files. Right. For example, I'll tell you. You go to seleniumhq.org, click on the download link. Fine. And then you click on this download Java client library. You click on this download link. What you will get is that you will get this hold on. You will get the latest version, which is right now it is 2.43.1. I have got 2.42.2. Okay, I'll download the latest version. Doesn't really make difference. Okay, right. Inside it, you will have these two jar files of Selenium, and along with that, you will have the library folder, which will have other jar files of Selenium. So you need to include these jar files in Selenium inside Eclipse, and then automatically start working with Selenium. Or everything is inbuilt in these jar files. There is no exe for Selenium. Selenium is not installed. Just download these jar files and import them in Eclipse. How do you import them in Eclipse? It is very easy. You go to your project, right click on the project and go to the project properties. Fine. Over here you will have one option known as Java build path. Okay, click on that. You will see various tabs. Fine. Go to the libraries tab. You will see that GRE system library is already there. That means in this project GRE system library is present. You need to add the jar files. For that you have this button, add external jars. You click on that. Fine. Go to the location where you have kept the jar files. Fine. You get this particular, no need of this sources jar file. It actually contains the source code of Selenium. You don't need this. Add this jar file, and along with that, don't forget to add the jars under library folder. At times people do this mistake. Also add all the jar files in library folder. Control A, open. So all the jars are there, and click on OK. As soon as you click on OK, you will see all the jars of Selenium would be present over here in your project. You see that these are the Selenium jar files which you have included in your project. Okay, and now your project is Selenium enabled. You can use the classes present in these jar files to launch your browser or something. Fine. For example, if I write over here new Firefox driver, right? Firefox driver class is actually one of the classes which is present in one of these jar files. If I just run this program, you will see a blank Firefox window will open up. Fine. So it's not a rocket science. You need to know what all is present inside these jars. Okay. What is new over here? I'll talk about it in some time when I talk about object-oriented programming. But this is just an example for you that everything is inside the jars which you downloaded from here. And if you go to the Java doc over here in the documentation, you will see all the classes which are present in these jar files. Nobody remembers all the classes, and even I don't know how to work with all these classes, but when time comes up, I search it out in the documentation. But to understand this documentation, you need to learn the concepts of object-oriented programming, which I will be covering next. The next thing which we will be doing is we'll be starting off with the concepts of object-oriented programming, and then I'll tell you how to use those concepts in Java programming. How to use those concepts in Selenium. Right. Anybody with any questions till now? Anybody with any questions? Okay, there is a question being asked, will you be covering framework? Yes, I will be covering framework in the class. Okay, it will be towards the end of the session and I'll be taking it in detail. Right. But I'll be starting with the basics. I'll just not jump over to the advanced topics directly. Right. Any other question? What is standalone jar? Look, out here you will also have this file known as standalone jar, Selenium Server. It is a single jar file which you can say contains all these jars. When you use Selenium GRID, you use a standalone jar. In the beginning, you can use this. It doesn't really make a difference. You either download this one or download the other one. Okay. Then I have never heard of it, Boris, and I've never used Windows 8.1. I'm not sure because there are students who use 8 and or 8.1. Never heard any issues coming up like that. Which version of Eclipse? And latest version. You can use the latest version of Eclipse in Java. That doesn't make a difference. Whichever version of Eclipse or Java you use, it will not make a difference with Selenium. But yes, the version of browsers which you will be testing on, they do make a difference. Okay. Right. Sometimes my program is not running. I'll have to check out your program. Okay. What are the classes from Selenium which can be looked at in the beginning? I'll talk about that by third class. I'll talk about the classes in Selenium which can be looked in the beginning. Just be with me. Right. So yes, Rukmani, I'm recording this session. You'll get the recorded session. Right. Yeah. Another question being asked is what is a framework? Okay. Okay. Fine. What is a framework? Look, when you work practically in industry, okay, you have got multiple test cases. Okay, suppose these are 4 test cases. Taking a simple example, you want to execute these test cases in a serial order. right? One after another, right? And you also have a requirement. Suppose you want to read your data, the test data, which is there from an XLS file or an XML file. Okay. Or we also keep some data in properties file. We'll talk about what properties file is. Right. Apart from that, you have to generate logs. Okay. What do you mean by logs? That is, suppose your script is running for 4 hours. What happened at each and every moment? You need to log log in a text file or something, right? So you need to generate logs. You need to generate reports of these test cases that were when uh, these were running, what was the output like, right? Apart from that, there are many other things. I'll not talk about that right now. Keeping scenario very simple out here, right? So to do all these things, you introduce a centralized controller. This controller is generally a test ng framework or JUnit framework, or in market we have got BDD frameworks like Cucumber is there, JBehave is there, right? Or another BDD is Cucumber. I'm forgetting the name. I'm sorry. Cucumber, JBehave, Fitness. Yeah, Fitness is there. Fine. So there are many controllers which can help you to do these things, right? BDD means behavior driven development. Okay, I cannot tell you what exactly it is. It's a very big concept. Okay, just understand it right now. Right now, just understand that these all things are there. Okay, in pre-recorded sessions, if you have the access to pre-recorded sessions, I have covered Cucumber over here in 41st and 42nd module. Right, it's used a lot, especially in US and UK market, and it's getting famous in India as well. So you have this scenario, you have this kind of scenario. So to collaborate between all these things, right? That is, you want to read the data from Excel file. You want to, yes, I'll add videos on JBehavior. Yes, you want to call the corresponding test case. Okay, you want to generate logs. You want to generate reports. Okay, to do all these things, right? You use the centralized controller, and concept this whole concept is known as building the framework. This is a framework. Okay, there are various strategies for this: data-driven framework, keyword-driven, hybrid framework. A lot of things are there. Okay, page object model framework. The framework has also got different types, different strategies in which you do it. And that is implementing a real-time project in a nutshell. That's a framework. Fine. Now these days, what has happened is that another tool known as Jenkins is coming up, which you integrate it with your framework and use it. Okay. Now what does it do? Right. In the pre-recorded sessions, the last session is on Jenkins. Fine. Jenkins, what it does is that suppose, okay, this used to happen in the companies earlier. I'm not just talking about testers, even the developers, right? This is a server. Okay, a server like CVS, or you can say server, or this is a repository, right? A repository like CVS, okay, or Git. Fine. What do you mean by CVS Git repository? A place where everybody can store the code. Fine. For example, there are some developers working on the project. Okay, every developer is given 3 test cases to automate. Fine. So every developer will develop these 3 test cases in the project, right? And then all the developers, they will merge the code and they will keep the code on the server, on CVS or on Git, right? If a new team member comes up tomorrow, Fine. This team member can actually get the code from the latest code, right, from the server onto his machine, and he can download it and start working on it. So these repositories, they help you to effectively work in a team, right? But there is a disadvantage of this repository. The disadvantage is that, right, suppose this team member is sitting in India, this team member is in United States, and this team member is in UK. They don't know each other, and they just know that fine, we three are existing. They have a same time or messenger through which they communicate, right? Now this team member gets the code on his machine, and this team member gets the code on his machine from the server. Both of them don't know that we both are modifying the code, right? This guy, he modifies the code and deploys it on the server thinking that everything is fine, and meanwhile this guy doesn't know that the first guy has modified the code, and he also goes and deploys on the server, and there is some inconsistency. Okay, some file error is there, some compilation error comes up, whatever it is, right? Both of them don't know that this kind of stuff has happened, that we both have simultaneously or serially modified the files on the server, which has created some error. Okay, and both of them, they go back to their homes. The weekend is over. Like, suppose it's Friday, they spend Saturday, Sunday, come back in the morning, Monday morning, and nothing is working on the server. And then there is a blame game running that no, I did not do that, he did not, he did it, or something like this, right? So to avoid this confusion, right, in a system where multiple people are simultaneously doing the development, we use the tool Jenkins, which is very important, and it's got very famous these days. Right. There are other advantages of Jenkins as well. Right. In this scenario, what will happen is that as soon as somebody puts in a wrong file on the server, Jenkins will test everything, and if something breaks, Jenkins will send an email to everyone telling that something is wrong. Immediately an email is sent and you people can look into it. If you want to build your project every 24 hours, if you have to run your scripts, suppose I have deployed my Selenium scripts on the server, I want to schedule the scripts, I want to run the scripts every 12 hours, every 1 hour, every Monday, I can schedule it with Jenkins. So there are a lot of other advantages as well. That's what Jenkins is. Right. So, okay, there's a question being asked. Is Bamboo similar to Jenkins? Not exactly. Right. After covering videos, can we go through the video based only? Look, I would always suggest that if you're going for the videos, watch them serially. Okay, watch them serially. Right. I don't use JUnit to test engine, then only saying that I created a data driven. Yes, you can. It's not mandatory to use JUnit or TestNG to create a framework, but they make your work easy. Fine. Okay. Apart from videos, will I be providing any training material? Look, I provide video primarily. I'll provide you interview questions. I have not created any PDF document explaining everything. It is very vast, and it is very difficult to maintain that document over a period of time. So primarily videos are there and online trainings. Okay, and some documents. Fine. Okay. So is Hudson? Yeah, Hudson is similar to Jenkins. Initially it was Hudson, then the Hudson team, it had a fight or something, it separated from the company and made Jenkins. Right. So yeah, I'll be covering Jenkins. Yes, in this training I'll be covering Jenkins. In the framework, I'll tell you how to integrate Jenkins with framework. Okay. So I'll stop the recording.